Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? It is Saturday morning, and it's going to be a nice, refreshing day out there. It's about in the 60s here in Orlando, and I'm just loving it. I've got to put my sweater on, of course, but I'm still wearing my summer clothes. Um, so, guys, I wanted to share something with you. But before I do that, hello to my subscribers and my friends, I should say, my YouTube friends and my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. And please do not forget to, let me know that you subscribed. And because I don't watch the numbers, so let me know you've subscribed and I will subscribe back. Okay. Well, so what I want to talk about this morning is something interesting. Since I moved here to Orlando, I decided to go to the doctor and establish myself here in Orlando. I'm going to the dentist next week, but they do my blood work every 3 months because my mom was diabetic and I'm pre-diabetic, so I have to be really careful. I'm like diabetic type 2, so I have to really watch my blood sugar. A lot of it had to do with stress too, because I sell houses and sometimes it can get stressful when you get real busy and everything. But anyway, the doctor, this new doctor pointed out something to me. She said my blood hemoglobin was low and abnormal. They weren't red in the cells or something like that. They were really, really tiny red. And so she mentioned to me about something called having the trait of thalassemia, and it's spelled Thallassemia or something like that, thalassemia. And I thought, and I asked her, what's that all about? And she says, well, it can be misdiagnosed for anemia. And I told her, I says, well, when I was young, a little girl, I remember they saying I was extremely anemic. I was probably like 8 or 9. And they just told my mom, just make sure I get a lot of iron. Now, I always loved eating vitamin-enriched iron food. And maybe that's why, maybe because my blood was low. I mean, it would get to the point that my whole life was built around not exhausting myself. All my blood work would come back fine. Everything is in normal, the blood pressure, everything would always be normal, but I would suffer from fatigue, just always extremely tired. Because of that, as a teenager, I never really did the normal teenager stuff like hanging out with your friends. So whatever, I felt like I lived in like a bubble because I would rather just be home and be alone. And so I used to say I'm a loner because I honestly, I wouldn't have the energy. And there were times I was just feeling like I'm going to pass out if I do too much. I would just get so exhausted. Even when I would have family over and I would be cooking or entertaining, I would just get so exhausted to the point that I would get a headache and I just want to sleep. So I kind of avoid having a lot of these family get together and stuff. But the fatigue is so bad that there'd be times that I remember just not being able to work, but for like 3 months, and I would, have to be like, I can't do this anymore. And it would get stressful and that probably brings over into the blood sugar problem. And so I started avoiding doing a lot of things like going out and stuff. Like I said, I missed out a lot on teenage years because I just want to be a loner. My friends wanted to go out and I just wouldn't do it. I would literally not go out anywhere. And so, yeah. And to find out now about that, I was like, now it makes sense. So then I decided to, and so she told me, just make sure I, get enough iron and stuff, but there's nothing they can do about it. It's a trait. And then I remember thinking all my life why my mom was always in bed sleeping. She literally would wake up, make us breakfast, and go back to sleep, and I'd be in charge of my 5 sisters and brothers. My 5 sisters and brothers. And then I have a sister that's the same way. She's always sleeping, always, always sleeping. I'm always tired, always. I am like never have any energy and I just make it through the day, but I'm always exhausted. And so I've always built my jobs around where I could have some form of control, sitting down or something. So I decided to look back at all my blood work because I'm thinking, why in the world no one has ever mentioned this to me? But I remember them giving me anemia shots for, anemia and all this stuff. Never worked. So I looked back on my file because I always took copies of whatever my blood work was and kept it. And sure enough, I looked back and every single one of those numbers were always coming back low. And I remember the doctor was always telling me, oh, you need to, have more iron, vitamin, and stuff like this. And the only other way to really help it, they say, is like blood transfusion, which I'm not about to go to any hospital ever again. I've had 3 surgery just to get a hysterectomy correct. And I'm just not doing it just because the insurance didn't want to do the whole thing at one time. I had to go 3 times. I was very fortunate. I did not lose a lot of blood during the surgery because that's one of the things that could be really bad. And it makes sense that during those 3 surgeries, I was, oh my God, it took me forever to get better. I was feeling so drained. And it took its toll financially at one point because, not being able to work. So guys, yeah, I don't know if anyone has ever had that issue and not even knowing why. They're always so tired and sleepy and just exhausted. And apparently this is trait is from certain, ancestors or country or something like that. But it all makes sense now, and it makes it a little bit more okay for me to not stress myself out again about why I'm so tired. I now know I have my limits. I have been living with this for, 54 years, believe it or not. And so therefore, hey, there's nothing I can do about it, but just continue to limit myself and not exhaust myself with things, and getting enough rest. So otherwise, I've probably been looking like 100 years old or something if I would have really tried to do a lot of things I wanted to do, because that would have really worn me out. And so, yeah, that's interesting. Thalassemia can be mistaken for anemia and low blood sugar or whatever. And I'm just so glad I've got this doctor. And I think it's because she also has that because of where she's from. And that's probably why she was able to diagnose this finally, you know. But guys, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I hope I am too. We've got to get some sales going. So wish us some luck this weekend that we get some sales and hit it off like we did last month. Everyone take care. God bless. Bye-bye.